Oh gosh. Hi. Yes. How are you? So I just want to say really quick, if you're watching this video and you're new to wedding videography, you probably don't need everything in this kit because this is some of the most expensive stuff on the market. It's some of the best stuff on the market, and it's something that we've spent a lot of money on. So there are cheaper alternatives. However, I just want to take that opportunity to show you my wedding day audio kit. So let's get started. Hey friends, how are you? So I want to do a quick rundown of everything that we use for audio on a wedding day. So the typically way that we do this is we will, during the ceremony, we will mic the officiant and we will mic the groom. Controversy, I know, we do not put mics on brides. I found that it's just not needed. If a bride is reading vows at the ceremony, they are within reading distance of that groom's mic anyways. And yeah, sure, you can get a little bit better audio quality out of micing a bride, but I don't want to. No bride wants to be mic'd. I don't want to mic a bride. There's a lot going on. Big wedding dress, a lot of emotions. There's just no point. I would rather just keep it easy for everybody involved and not. Typically, we will mic the groom and the officiant during the ceremony. And then also, because we deliver full ceremony videos, during the ceremony, we'll be plugging into any DJ's soundboard where we can get that music, or miking a string quartet or something similar. And if it's a Catholic wedding at a church, we'll also be putting a microphone in a podium or something like that. Then when it comes to the reception, we will be miking the DJ's board, and then ideally having a backup as well onto the microphone. So wanted to walk you through all of the wedding day audio gear that we use, and let's just start with these. So this combo right here is going to be the Rode Wireless Pro that came out recently. I absolutely love them. I've made a whole video on them, and there's weird reasons why I love them. And probably the biggest reason is that they do internal recording and they are tiny. So this right here fits easily into a jacket pocket. It's a tiny little piece of device. I don't actually use the wireless function. If you want to learn about why I don't use the wireless function and why I don't run wireless back to the camera, you can go watch our full Wireless Pro video. But simple as that. And I will pair them with these guys, which is the Deity w.Lav Micro. And the reason I love this thing is simple as that. Fantastic audio quality, and look how absolutely tiny this microphone is. So it's easily hidden behind a lapel, hidden behind a, just hidden on the groom's jacket. Just fantastic, very tiny. These pair very nicely with the Rode Wireless Pros. So that's typically the way we will run that. I've got a couple different ways that we mount these two jackets. If it's ever windy or I'm worried about the wind, on a groom's jacket, I will simply just run this mic on the inside of the jacket instead of on the outside. If it's a nice day or it's indoors, we'll just clip it directly to the outside of their jacket. So there's a lot of options there. The Rode Wireless Pro, I'd be perfectly fine with a set like a Tascam DR10L or something similar, but I just like the Wireless Pros just because they're a little bit smaller and the USB rechargeable is easy. So moving on, if the ceremony has a, say, string quartet, say violinist, say, or if it's in a church and it has a podium, there's another place that needs to be mic'd. And that's where this guy comes in, which this is an old system. And as you can see on the back, I've got a label that says 3 because we own probably 5 of these things, as just they're everywhere. And when I very first started filming weddings, this was actually my very first recorder. These have been updated recently to the H1 Essentials, which now supports 32-bit float, which is fantastic, and they're extremely cheap. But something I love about this and why we still use these to this day is, say during a ceremony, you've got a violinist playing or a string quartet that doesn't have a speaker. You can turn this on, you can set it to auto levels, and you can set it on the ground right in front of them. And these 2 built-in microphones will pick up everything that they say. Or say you have a larger, say a Catholic wedding where several people are going to be getting up and giving readings to the podium. Instead of finding these individual people and trying to put a lav microphone on them, I will take this, turn it on, set it to auto levels, and go and set it up on the podium near where they're going to be speaking anyways. So then as they go up to the podium and they get set up and they go to read, this microphone is picking up everything they're saying. Extremely versatile. A couple weeks ago, I made a big mistake and I actually forgot, I don't know how this happened, just bear with me here. I actually forgot to pack the Rode Wireless Pro set completely. And so thankfully I had 2 of these in my camera bag just ready to go. And I did it just like the old days where it has a line in port as well. And I plugged in my w.Lav micro lav mics into this and put this entire thing into the groom's pocket and into the officiant's pocket. They didn't realize anything was wrong. And this has superb quality when using the lav microphone and the line in. I love it. Back when I first started, I really had 2 of these in my audio kit, and that was it, because this port on the side supports also line in. So you can run, technically if you wanted to, XLR to 3.5 and record straight out of the DJ's board here. You've got to worry about clipping and things like that, but this is an old piece of gear that I keep around to this day because it works really well and it saved my butt on multiple occasions. So for ceremony, we will continue. Now, say ceremony has a DJ there playing music. The Zoom F3 has been my absolute go-to over the last almost 2 years now. And this right here is actually something I just keep in the port. This is an XLR to 3.5, just in case I have a DJ setup or something that needs a 3.5 connector in there. I can take a 3.5 to 3.5 and plug it into this port and still get great audio out of a 3.5 out. But most of the time, the new kind of modern speakers that I've been seeing DJs use are wireless, they're battery powered, but they all have a 1/4 inch output on the back of them. And so I'll take the F3, I will plug in slot number 1 here into my XLR, and then this 1/4 inch cable goes right into the back of the DJ speakers. Just a heads up, I never touch a DJ speaker or I never plug anything into them without asking them first, because it's common courtesy. You don't touch other people's gear without, I don't know, asking them first. But this setup right here is typically what goes into the back of a DJ's board, or not a board, but into the back of the DJ speaker during a ceremony. Say they've got a speaker running for music, and then it's a great backup if they're also miking the officiant as well. So that pretty much covers the ceremony coverage. So we've got a Rode Wireless Pro on the officiant with a lav mic, a Rode Wireless Pro on the groom with a lav mic, a Zoom F3 ideally plugged into the DJ's board or DJ's speaker if he has one, and then you've got an H1N available for any readings or any string quartets or any random other things that might need audio for your full ceremony video. Now, moving on to just, let's take a quick pause. On-camera microphones. This is a nice one. For us, on-camera microphones aren't extremely valuable. We use a lot of on-camera microphones mainly for that ambient audio, mainly just for those laughters and giggles and stuff in between. But every now and then it can be a backup for, say, like a letter reading or a backup for anything that somebody says directly to camera. We don't rely on these for wedding days. These are simply helpful for ambient audio, but we're not getting any main sources of audio recorded directly to camera. It's just how we roll. I mean, ideally, I like to have one on every camera because it's kind of twofold. Number one, if you have this on your camera for a wedding day, you're a lot less likely to get mistaken for a photographer, which happens a lot. But also, any of that ambient audio, any of that laughter in between, any of that kind of backup audio you have, and it's a better quality than what your on-camera mics would be doing. So we have an on-camera mic for every camera, just in case, but mainly it's mainly for that ambient audio. Now, moving into the just general cables that you might need. So let's talk about this. I talked on the 1/4 inch cable that can come out of a speaker, and it's actually more and more popular to be on the back of a speaker for a ceremony. However, every now and then you'll get an old school DJ who's just got an old school setup and an old school speaker setup, and that's where you might need RCA to just an RCA out. It happens every now and then. We maybe do 2 weddings a year now that have speakers with RCA out, but I like to keep this in my camera bag just in case. Now this cable is actually a RCA to 3.5, and that's where this adapter on my F3 comes in handy because this RCA can plug into the speaker, this 3.5 can plug into my XLR adapter, and this XLR adapter can go right into channel 1 or channel 2 on the F3. So if your DJ speaker has an RCA out or you need an RCA out, I would go with this cable right here. Now they do make these RCA to XLR that are balanced. Yeah, that's probably what would be a better option, but because I have this set up, it works really well. And lastly, you've got your standard female to male XLR cable. Now this is typically done, and typically I use these for receptions, where the back of a speaker, whether it's a band or a DJ, will have an XLR port or for an XLR line out of the back of the speaker. And there's some debate in the wedding video industry of where do you plug in a recorder. First off, you plug in a recorder wherever the band or DJ tells you you can plug in a recorder. It's really simple as that. It's their gear. You're simply just asking nicely if you can use it. However, I almost always will prefer to go into the back of a speaker rather than in the board directly. Now, there's some debate on this because in the board directly, you should get a better signal. However, there's always an opportunity that you can go directly into the board and the DJ or soundboard guy at the band is not actually sending you an out, or he's sending you an out for everything but the microphone that the speech giver is using. And that's always a big fear of mine because I've plugged into boards directly before and didn't get any audio out because there was no audio being sent out. The reason I love plugging into the back of a speaker is because when you hear that audio in the room, you know it's going into your recorder. There's no doubt about it. If it's going through the speaker and it's into the line out of the speaker, it's going into your recorder as well. So it's just kind of a mental assurance there of, hey, if the speaker's on and I can hear the speech giver giving their speech, then that means that my recorder is on and working. And that just comes with the magic of also 32-bit float audio coming out of this Zoom F3, where we don't really check levels anymore. It used to be back in the day, if you didn't have a 32-bit recorder, you would click record, you'd kind of guess your levels, and then run over to the camera, be recording the speech, run back over, make sure your audio levels weren't peaking at all, or have a second videographer monitor the levels of the audio while you went and recorded the speech. It was just a big hassle, but now with 32-bit float, we can click this on, you set your levels, and you can just run with it and know that you'll always get fantastic audio. This Zoom F3 specifically, we've done a video on this channel before, but I love this thing. It is just, it's a fantastic, tiny recording device for I mean, this thing was just built for weddings. Let's just be real. Every wedding videographer I know pretty much has one or is aiming to get one. And if you're wanting your wedding days to be easier, to just record better audio with, then the Zoom F3 is where it's at. So let me run you back through kind of our entire setup here. The Zoom F3 we use for capturing audio at receptions. With the F3, I've got an XLR to XLR male to female cable and XLR to a 1/4 inch cable, a RCA to 3.5 cable, and an XLR to 3.5 inch adapter. With that, also we've got on-camera mics on every camera. These I'm not super particular about. They can be cheap on-camera mics, they can be expensive on-camera mics. Because we don't rely on them too much, I don't really care. The H1N is by far probably the GOAT of this entire setup here because it's just so old, so reliable, but so unique, and we use it in so many different weddings and so many different areas. And I think it's just cool because it's not the newest and most expensive piece of gear in the kit. It's literally $59 right now on B&H, but I use it almost every weekend still. Our Deity w.Lav micro lav mics, fantastic. But again, any 2 lav mics will work really, really well. And the Rode Wireless Pro set. So it looks like a complicated setup, but it's really not. It's a really simple audio solution for weddings that's fairly compact, can fit all into a gear bag, and it's something that's just tried and true, and we get incredible audio out of almost every single wedding that we do. I say almost because, well, there's sometimes we have user error. But other than that, I hope you learned something from this video. If you learned something at all, I would appreciate the subscribe, or if you've got any questions on different audio gear that you would like to see, definitely leave a comment down below. Let me know any questions, or just let me know the way that you use audio. So I'll see you guys in the next video. See ya.